Hey guys, welcome back to Tigre Gitana. My name is Abby and today we're going to be doing the weekly chakra healing videos. If you hear like a very, I want to call it a pulsating sound in the background, that's because the heater's on, so it's going to be doing all of the noises in the world. But we're going to get started anyway, just because I want to get these videos out for you guys. Starting with the root chakra, as we do every week. So we have like a very powerful Gemini full moon on Friday, which I'm really excited about. The moon is currently in Aries, and then it's going to go into Taurus tomorrow. So starting the week off with a lot of energy basically is what we're doing, and then we're going to be chilling towards the middle of the week, so Thanksgiving should be relatively chill. Anyway, what is our blockage for our root chakra? What is our blockage for our It's kind of funny that the first card that jumped out was the Justice card. Okay. What is the blockage for our root chakra? I mean, how many times do we have to talk about balance, though? Okay. How many times do we have to go over balance? I mean, that's the whole point of the chakras anyway, to balance them out. So I guess a lot. How can we best heal our root chakra this week? How can we best heal our root chakra this week? That is funny that that's the first card that came out, because that's something that Gemini does a lot. How can we best heal our root chakra this week? Okay. How can we best heal? Ooh. Okay. How can we best heal? Ooh, there we go. So, hold on. Oh God. Oh God. Okay, bottom of the deck is I'm just gonna show you all of them. The Two of Wands, the Nine of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, and Death. So Scorpio season's gonna leave us with some gifts? No? Okay. Hopefully. Possibly. I'm down. I mean, Jupiter definitely left me with some gifts. I will say that, when Jupiter moved into Sag and out of Scorpio, and I feel like the sun's going to do the same thing when it moves. And it's kind of funny because if I remember correctly, on Friday the sun moves into Sag, and we also have a full moon in Gemini, and it's also Black Friday if you partake in such shopping festivities. But I just feel like this week is kind of like a dun dun dun, like a ending of the waters that hopefully made you a little bit stronger and not as, are you ready to come out of the unconscious mind is what I'm asking you. Anyway, so for the root chakra, we have Justice, the Three of Wands in our blockage, Three of Pentacles, King of Cups, and the outcome is Strength. So right off the bat, I can tell you there's a couple of things that are coming up for me as far as blockage goes, because since this has to do with emotions, I immediately go to our sacral space with this. So there's something going on in our sacral space and our solar plexus space as far as like that's contributing to us being blocked in our root chakra this week. And because it is not balanced, because we are not taking the time out to kind of, I feel like there's a lot of this, because this is in the healing right now. This is the first card that jumped out of the healing, and this is something that Gemini does a lot. We have like a lot of thoughts. Every sword is a thought. Every sword is a thought, and it happens in like back to back to back to back to back. So there's a lot of thoughts, a lot of, and I feel like you can feel it. Anytime there's a Gemini moon coming up, it's always just like a scatter of thoughts. Virgo is a little bit more grounded with this energy as far as like the analyzing, but Gemini is just like all over the place. So as far as in the healing goes, we really need to address the things that we really need to just sit down and talk to ourselves. There's a part of us that is in our power, but we for some reason are not taking it as we're there. Like there's a part of us that is like, you know, we're strong enough to handle what is being dealt. We're strong enough to handle the situation. We're strong enough to make a decision about where we want to go, what we want to plant our seeds on, what we want to build on later, what we want to spend our time doing in order to get that balance. But it's just kind of like we're not doing it. It's so it's kind of like the outcome of this, because we have the Nine of Swords with like the healing comes from the Nine of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, then the World, hello Saturn. Then we have the Hermit card, which is a card of Virgo. Then we have the Four of Wands and the Ten of Cups. So there's kind of like a, hey, do you want to stop doing this mental thing right now? Do you want to like stop mentally blocking yourself? Do you want to end this lesson? Is this something that you want to move on from? Or are you going to just continue to feed the fire and not reap the benefits of what it is that you have? You probably already have a lot of the things that you want. You're just not seeing it because there's something else that I mean, there always has to be something else. We get so bored of the stuff that we strive for after we already had it. It's ridiculous. But there is an element here of like, hey, come back to your power, come back to your remember how strong you are, remember how grounded you are with your emotions, remember how easily you can manifest through your emotions, through your water energy. Remember this and bring yourself back into balance, because we are not in balance. The root chakra is a little bit shaky this week, and it has to do with, instead of doing the scattered Gemini thing, we need to do the Virgo analyzing thing. That's what we need to do in order to bring this, in order to bring these seeds into the ground, from the sky, from our minds into the ground, in order for us to move forward and actually move into what it is that we're trying to build, where we're trying to grow, what we're trying to do. It needs to go from our heads into the action of the thing. It needs to just stop doing this. It's not helping anymore. Like, if you get an idea and you consistently just keep it in your head and you don't do anything about it, you're just wasting your time. You're wasting not only your time, but the fact that that download had to come to you and you're not actually analyzing it. You're not actually saying, okay, you know what, let's say I take a chance on this. How would I implement it? How would I go about getting this? How am I going to get to the outcome? Instead of just being like, oh my God, you know what, I keep thinking about this, I kind of want to do this, I don't know, like, I don't know, let me go ask somebody, but okay, but like I still don't know. And like it's just like it's a loop, instead of it being, it's just because this is a loop, this is a mental loop, this doesn't stop. And so it just needs to be analyzed in the way Virgo handles that energy, not just in the way Gemini scatters it, but in the way Virgo says, okay, these are the words, these are the ideas, let me bring it back down and say, okay, how am I going to implement this? How am I going to best put this into action? Like, what's going to happen? And it's all to get to this. That's the whole point. So there is an aspect here of water and fire. Water and fire, like these, as far as these two going hand in hand, water and fire. So there is a lot of emotional and fire energy as far as our passions that we have these goals set in mind, but how are you going to implement it? And this is kind of a really fun question to ask you when the moon is in Aries, because you know Aries is all about this. The journey is what Aries strives for. Mind you, Aries does not rule the root chakra, but it's still you still have to keep in mind like the synchronicities of the damn universe, as far as like, hey, you know, I've been thinking about this a lot, and then the moon goes into a cardinal sign. Not only that, the cardinal sign of fire and path and goals and who are you and what are you going to do next and what is it? It's like your path is not being taken into consideration, and you need to just straight up focus on it, analyze it, and see how you're going to get there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, or, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this and maybe I should. No. What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? What steps are you going to take to implement it? And this Gemini moon is going to be a really good time to sit with all these messages, all these thoughts that you have, and really ground yourself on how you're going to move next, and taking that seed and actually planting it somewhere, instead of just the self-torment thing, because this is very easy to do, and just be miserable, or you can actually do something and, you know, feel better. No? Okay. I be petty sometimes, but that's what happens. Yeah, this week's gonna be very mental. This week's gonna be very mental. I could feel it. It's just gonna be very mental. But you know what? We have a really cute Taurus moon. And let me tell you, I love it when the moon's in Taurus. It's probably my favorite out of all the moons. I've said this before. It's either Pisces moon, Taurus moons, that are like my favorite moons, because it's just so it's so enjoyable. I just really love Taurus moons. It's self-care week, and I feel like that's a part of it. Like, you know, definitely do your self-care. First card was Justice, and you know that's Venus energy. So really bring it back. Do some, like, if the way you need to reground is by doing some self-love work, please go do that work, because that is very important work anyway. Okay, message for this week. Oh. Yo, are we getting this card again? Yeah, I need to chill. Oh, ooh. Okay, we got 2 cards. And the first card that came out is going to be a very familiar card, because I've read it on here before. But we're going to read it again. Okay. Moonlight. Your intuition allows you to see beyond the mundane, logical, and analytical. Follow it. Also, when we get to the third eye, we're going to be talking about this. So, we're going to be talking about it. Moonlight beckons. Come and trust your intuition to lead you into places that may not seem logical. Your hunches will be right on target. Resist second-guessing yourself, for your alternative perception is especially sharp right now. You can see beyond the surface of things and truly read between the lines. This is a good time to use oracle cards or other systems of divination to gain information. Remember that the language of intuition is a symbolic one. It comes subtly through a hunch, a tingling, a clear sound, or an animal or an object crossing your path. Spirit is sending you messages to help you right now. Success is yours if you follow the signs. That's that one. And then the other one, you're going to be not excited to know, to, I guess, accept it that is happening again. But it's sad embrace. Loss is a part of life. Let go and allow time to heal you. You may be entering into a period where loss is a theme. Perhaps you are having to let go of a cherished dream. If so, take heart, for this ending may have been for your highest good. A better and more powerful dream will be realized in your life if you can accept this loss. Relationships based on faulty foundations are meant to end at this time. Disappointment is a form of perception. If your perceptions aren't met, a sense of loss arises along with sadness and grief. Express these emotions. Tears are like healing rain that can restore life to a parched inner landscape. Growth is always assured. Whatever the loss, however great it is, let it go and experience your feelings so that you may soon see the beauty that lies ahead. And the funny thing about this card, because it's I feel like consistently to the past couple of weeks it's just been coming out in the readings. We're in the last week of Scorpio season. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, the sun goes into Scorpio Friday on the full moon. So this is like really the last week that we have to deal with this death transformational energy for a while, you know, until some other Scorpio stuff, placements and things, and of the Pluto starts, you know, for a while basically. And so it's a really good time to just finish up. Like, this is just like, if you have not finished catching up on everything that you need to just like, because this again, we're going to talk about this in the sacred spaces. I'm sure it's going to come out, but this is just like, hey, Scorpio season really rebuilds you so you can come back into your power. And when you are not in your power, where you are kind of just like stuck in between and just doing a lot of this, it it's really hard to manifest from that place. It's also really hard to get this from that place. It's almost practically impossible, honestly. Yes, you can manifest out of frustration, you can, but it doesn't always turn out the way that you want it to. A lot of times when you manifest from a place of frustration just to get what it is that you want, what ends up happening is that you'll get what you want, but what you end up getting is not exactly what you thought it was going to be, and is actually, it would have been actually more valuable had you taken your time with it, had you worked it a little bit different, had you gotten yourself in a different mind space. So it's like there's a lot of, it's like, I feel like with the season, Scorpio season can be very much like as you're trying to swim up, because the way I always see it is like you're already at the bottom of the ocean. You're in complete darkness, just floating in the water down there. You're just there. And as you're coming out this week, as we're coming out of Scorpio season, as we're swimming up and we're seeing more lighter blue up until we get to the surface, don't forget, first of all, that we have to pass this subconscious, which is Pisces energy, Neptune energy. And we have to deal with those things that are just rising as we rise through our unconscious mind with all the knowledge that we have acquired this past season, as we go in through the subconscious mind, as we come up into the surface at the end of the week with this Gemini moon just blasting us into the consciousness of our lives, and really with the sun and Sag really pushing us to, hey, okay, now you know, what do you want? What are we expanding? What are we doing? Jupiter's like, hey, what? And so even though Venus will be in Scorpio for the end of the year, there is still a need to just like say, hey, I need to, I need to take my time swimming up there. Because once you get up there, it's just like a breath of fresh air. But all of Scorpio season has been staying in that dark spot. And it's like you could have been happy for like that one day, that couple of days you were fine. And then literally the day after that, you were just like right back under that unconscious dark water force. And it just turns into this aching, like, why am I keep getting anchored back down to the bottom of the ocean? Why am I down here? Why? And it's always like, hey, you still have some stuff to resolve down here. There's still secrets that you need to uncover. There's still, you're not balanced here. The King of Cups, especially in the blockage, the King of Cups, he has already mastered the ocean. He is in balance with all his emotions. He is very intuitive, very powerful. And so because we are not in this level, we're just not in this level where we're even grounded in water, which is something that it's kind of weird to say, because you would think grounded means more for earth, but you can be grounded emotionally as well. It's just that it requires you to flow, not necessarily stay still. You have to flow with what you're doing versus just staying still and just waiting to rise up into the sun like a plant that we are. Like, that's not how it works with water. You have to really understand the depths of you, and Scorpio season will bring you to those depths. And if you're still like sorting out through the gunk and all the things, congratulations, this week is not gonna be all that much fun for you, because you're catching up. You're catching up. And even up to the end of the year, Venus and Scorpio is still going to be like creeping, like, hey, I'm still here. Did you forget something? Is there something you forgot down here that you need to go back and check? So really focus on definitely self-care, but sorting out your thoughts. The mind has come up like twice. Last week, this week, it's just been head. Like, get this sorted out. Get this sorted out. It's doing a lot right now, and it's not helping. Get it sorted out. Get the gunk out. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. My links and stuff will be down below. Don't forget to subscribe.